the 20th of September, the fourth day that I was at the 2019 World Championships, Tian Tao, Xiaojun and Yang Zi all turned up to train. For Tian and Yang, this was their heavy snatch day, and for Lu, it was his heavy back squat day. And there is a reason that for Lu it was something different, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but I got the answer to his different style of peaking for competition because I was fortunate enough to interview Lu a couple of weeks ago in person, and so he clarified a few of these things for me, and I'll put that interview up here for you guys soon. All of these guys, at least after this World Championships, would be world record holders. Tian Tao in the clean and jerk in the 96 kilo class, Lu in the snatch, clean and jerk and total in the 77 and 81 kilo class, and Yang Zi in the snatch in the 109 kilo class. So it really is one of the most impressive trios you'll ever get to see training side by side in weightlifting. Lasha had just wrapped up his day's workout, and just after these guys had finished, it was Mezzo and Ilya's first training session together. But during this workout, these were the real superstars in the room. Tian Tao is one of the strongest clean and jerkers in the world. He is of course the world record holder in the class with 231 kilos, and he also held the Olympic record in the 85 kilo class at 217 kilos. But his snatch has never quite been at that level. Even so, he still has had some big lifts, 178 kilos twice in the 85 kilo class and 181 at the 2018 World Champs in the 96 kilo class. The thing with Tian, however, that makes him both so terrifying and exciting to watch is his inconsistency in the lift. Out of the 24 international snatches that he's attempted, he's only made 12 of them, a 50% record, 4 times missing a second attempt only to go on and then make his third, at the same or often at a heavier weight. Perhaps the most terrifying display of this was at the 2016 Olympic Games when he missed his first 2 attempts only to make his third and ultimately go on to take the silver medal at the Games. He did it again at the 2019 World Championships just 4 days after this session, and I'll play this lifts in a few minutes. But he missed his 175 kilo first and second attempt twice before going up 5 kilos and making it to stay in. As it would turn out, if he hadn't gone up, he would have been beaten by Mezzo Hasona and would not have become a world champion. Yang Zi is the opposite of Tian Tao. His snatch is by far and away his most impressive lift, winning the gold at 4 of his 6 major competitions in the snatch. But despite these 4 goals, he's only won 3 international meets. Now, not that that is an insignificant number, it's still incredible, but he hasn't ever won at a World Championships or Olympic Games. He has, however, snatched 190 kilos or more 5 times internationally. So Lu Xiaojun was squatting heavy and doing accessories during this session. In fact, all of them finished up with accessories: strict press, hip extension, Lu raises and abs. And I've uploaded that full video to the Weightlifting House Patreon if you want to check it out, the link's down below. But when I interviewed Lu, one of the questions I asked him, in light of watching him training at the World Championships, was why he barely snatched or clean and jerked in the build-up to the World Champs. Why is it that he does so much heavy squatting and pulling? He told me, and this is pretty much word for word, at least once we got the interview fully translated, that he feels no need to go heavy in the snatch and clean and jerk. His priority is simply to restore his full strength for competition. And so, since he wants to restore his strength, he focuses on strength training. And that once it is fully restored, he can attempt heavier snatches and clean and jerks. He finished off by saying, and I quote, that "These techniques have been forged into my mind. So once my strength has been restored, I'm ready to go big." As you can see, Tian Tao and Yang Zi were both trading lifts, just going back and forth, following reasonably similar jumps. Tian would work up to 170 kilos altogether, which is about 94% of his competition best, though it did look significantly easier than that. Yang Zi worked up to 180 kilos, around 92% of his competition best. I imagine in training they've probably both done somewhere between 5 and 10 kilos more than their competition lifts. For someone who can make 170 kilos look so easy, It's difficult to imagine how they can make just 5 kilos more look so difficult on the competition platform. And yet 4 days later, whilst I filmed him just 15 yards away, he did just that, as you can now see. After his first miss, there was a sense of classic Tian Tao in the room, but after the second miss, everyone seemed a little bit more concerned, not least because he was the guy that everyone assumed would win. With last year's world champion Saurabh Maradi out of the picture, it would have been a huge shock if he'd bombed out. And to make things even more scary, Tian had to wait a full 12 minutes in between his second and third attempt.
That's shocking. Largely considered a favorite for this.
In part because he'd chosen to go up to 180 and a lot of lifters had attempts before that, but also because of the whole Kianush Rostami yelling at the judges fiasco. And there's an interview with Rostami coming soon. But Tian Tao doing Tian Tao things, he kept his head in the game and did what he had to do. A pretty useful trait for a world champion. And this was Yang Zi's top snatch for the day, a weight that he also makes look incredibly easy. This is just 17 kilos below the world record that he would hit 6 days later, a lift I won't play you now because it features on last week's Simon Martirosyan training video, which you can check out. And now it was Lu Xiaojun's turn to put on a show. 3 days prior, Lu had front squatted a quick 240 kilos, and so I knew that his legs were feeling pretty strong. He told me that his best ever back squat, though not on film anywhere, at least to my knowledge, is a staggering 305 kilos, a lift that he hit as a 77 kilo weightlifter, which, even if he weighed 80 kilos at the time, is a mind-blowing 3.8 times bodyweight squat. Now bear in mind that the powerlifting IPF world record for the 74 kilo class is 283 kilos, and the 83 kilo class world record is 313 kilos. So Lu is bang on world record levels in powerlifting. And that is of course without the 48-hour weigh. As usual, Lu works up in slabs. 70, 120, 170, 220, and finally 270 kilos. At 35 years of age, as Lu said, age is just a number. These three lifters are clearly good friends. At the 49th Challenge 210 in Switzerland about a month after this, I watched the three of them share a barbell and work up in the squat. Tian found some large 2.5 kilo plates, the ones that look like 25s, and he found them absolutely hilarious. So he stuck them on the bar whilst laughing and made sure that the other two squatted with them, pretending that they were lifting 45 kilos more than they actually were, because of course they weigh 2.5 each. They all found this really funny and were pretending to grind out 170 kilo squats and 220 kilo squats that look like 220 and 270. As serious as they all come across when they have an important competition coming up, they can joke around just as much as anyone, and it's a side to the Chinese team that you don't see too often. If you guys want to see those lifts, also they're on the Weightlifting House Instagram page if you want to see Tian and Lu squatting with fake plates. Now because Yang Zi was just a little bit further out from competition than everyone else, he worked up to a heavy snatch pull, something that they regularly do. Today just up to 250 kilos. Tian Tao also worked up in some pulls, but nothing anywhere near as heavy, just, somewhere around 90% of his best snatch for a few faster lifts. it isn't actually guaranteed that we're going to see Tian Tao at the Olympics next year. China can only send 4 men, though they have 7 men in qualifying spots, so they're going to have to choose the 4 that they think are most likely to hit gold medals, to win the Olympics. Now, with guys like Chen Lijun, Shi Ziyong, Li Feibin, Liu, and Li, it's not definite that they're going to send someone like Tian, who is as consistent as he is and has guys like Mezo Hasona and potentially even Sarab Muradi to compete against. So despite his world record in the clean and jerk and his world championship status, we may not see him again after the 2020 Asian Championships for another few months. After Liu's heavy holds and Yang's heavy pulls, they all joined together for their accessory work. And like I said, the full video of that is up on the Patreon page, along with a load more videos, more podcasts, and just $1 weightlifting programming if you want to check that out. And also, if you want to see Liu's upcoming interview, it's 30 minutes long, then subscribe to the channel, and if you need any thumb tape, barbells, or workout gear, including a Chinese weightlifting t-shirt, then head over to weightliftinghouse.com. I also wrote a book called The Greatest Weightlifters of All Time, which features the top 70 weightlifters ever, talking about their greatest performances, lives, and greatest lifts. Tian Tao and Liu Xiaojun both feature in that book, so if you want to grab a copy for Christmas, you can grab that also at weightliftinghouse.com. Ships worldwide.